Alright guys, Ashton here with Southwest Louisiana Saltwater. First time I'm in front of the camera. But today I'm going to be going over my surf fishing rigs on my rods and leaders. There's a lot of questions about them in my comments in my last video. Real quick though, videos have been kind of short the past couple of weeks. It's been about 2 weeks since I uploaded. It's just fishing's been kind of tough. So yeah. That's why there hasn't been any videos for the past couple weeks. Hopefully I'll get one out next weekend. But yeah, just get right on into it. My main setup you'll see me using in the surf is this 12-foot pin squadron heavy, rated for 4 to 8 ounces. And I have it set up with an 8,000 size Fierce 3 on this one. And then on my second one, which is the same rod, I have a Fierce 4 that I just picked up. Kind of excited to try that one out. These rods, I'm using these for big pieces of cut bait for big bull reds and sharks. And just real quick, like this is the lower end rod. I like this rod. I've never had any problems with this rod. It was only about a $70 rod when I bought these. I think they do pretty well for how much they cost. And on my reel choice, I really like the Fierce reels from Penn because it's an all metal reel. They're real solid for their price point at only like 120. In the 8,000s, they hold a good bit of braid. On my 8,000 size reels on these 12-foot rods, I have 50-pound braid. And I don't use a shock leader on any of my rods. I probably should, but I don't. I've never had a problem with not using one. So I don't. And maybe I'll start using one day, but for now, I just use straight braid to my main leaders. Like I said, my other 12-foot squadron, it's the same rod. It's just and same reel. It's just a Fierce 4 on this one instead of a Fierce 3. And then this one right here is another 12-foot rod. It's an H2O surf rod. What is it? It's been so long since I looked at it. An H2O Extreme 12-foot surf rod. Rated for 2 to 6 on this one. This rod I have paired with a 6,000 size Fierce 2, which is actually my oldest Fierce reel. I've had it for about 5 years, which will tell you how solid these reels are. You just maintain them correctly and they'll last forever. On this one, I have it spooled up with 30-pound braid. And this setup I use for smaller cut bait, live bait, or might use it for pompano rigs. That's what this rod is for, and it works really well. This rod is actually cheaper than the Squadrons. It was only like $50 when I bought it. But it's held up just as well as they have, and I really do like it. Now on to my newest rod I've added to my collection. Haven't had a chance to try it out yet. But that is the Okuma Rockaway SP surf rod. This is the 11-foot medium plus action. Well, medium plus power. It's a moderate fast action, and it's rated for 1/2 to 3 ounces. And I have that paired up with the Okuma Rockaway 6,000 size surf reel with a long cast spool on it. Slightly longer spools. What that means, it's helped with casting distance with 30-pound braid on here. And what this rod is going to be used for, what my plan to use it for is mostly throwing lures in the surf. Bigger spoons, like 1 to 2 ounce spoons, big bucktails, topwater as well, even bigger swim baits. That's what this rod is used for. I went with the 11-foot instead of the 10-foot because I just figured there's not much of a difference. I just get the longer one to get a little bit extra distance on that cast. So yeah, I'm really excited to try this rod out. I hope to get out next weekend to try it out actually. Alright, and now with that, that's the main rod you'll see. I do have a couple of 10 footers. I think one's a 10-foot medium to medium heavy raft combo from Penn. And then another one's my first ever surf rod was a Shakespeare Ugly Stick 10-foot combo. I still have both those. I still use those. But I was just showing you my main ones you would see more often. And get on to the leaders. This right here is just a common surf fishing leader. It's what I use for big cut bait. It's about 6 foot. I don't know how well you can see it, but it's about 6 foot. A 400-pound mono is what I prefer to use. To a decent size, one side is a decent sized barrel swivel, and the other side I like to use 10-aught hooks for it, 10-aught circle hooks. You always want to have circle hooks on when you're surf fishing, especially if you're just having your rod in the rod holder. Especially when the fish picks it up and runs, they usually end up just hooking themselves, and all you got to do is go reel and apply pressure. They get hooked pretty well. And also it can keep from having a lot of fish get gut hooked. It helps prevent that as well. I have it about 1.5 to 2 feet up from the hook. I have it pegged in the middle with a crimp there to keep the weight from sliding all the way to the hook. And to attach your weight, I just have a decent sized snap swivel. And on each side of that snap swivel, I have a couple of beads. Now these are just the craft beads like you'll find in the arts and crafts section at like Walmart. I use these because they're easier for me to find, and they're cheaper than like actually getting like fishing beads. And they're just plastic beads that work. They fit perfectly on 400-pound mono. And so yeah, I prefer to use these instead of actual fishing beads. So yeah, that's like I said, this leader is just used. I use this for big cut bait, mullet, croaker, stuff like that. Moving on from there, I forgot to grab one of my leaders out. Alright, moving on. Next I have a casting shark leader. It's so you could cast out for sharks, or if there's a lot of sharks in the surf, you won't get cut off using this. Again, it's about 6 foot of the same 400-pound mono, another big barrel swivel, and then the same snap swivel and sliding beads as the last one, just different color. But instead of having it pegged in the middle, it comes down to another barrel swivel, and then it goes to, I think this is a 130-pound braided cable to a 13-aught circle hook, so just a little bit bigger circle hook for my sharks. And yeah, this is just for casting shark baits. It's a little shorter leader for casting, and this way you won't get cut off if there's a lot of sharks, or if you're actually targeting sharks. It's a great leader for that. Moving on, I believe it's called a Cannonball Rig. I'm not completely sure. Just get it unrolled here. Okay, so right here I have, like I said, I believe it's called a Cannonball Rig. It's about 4 to 5 feet of 60-pound fluorocarbon. I have it snailed on a 7-aught circle hook. I just have a simple snail knot, and then it goes to 2 free sliding beads and a smaller snap swivel. And this is just free slides on the whole leader. There's nothing stopping it from going all the way. And then on the other end, it's just a decent size little barrel swivel, just with a uni knot on there. And what I use this leader for is smaller cut bait, as well as, you saw me use it in my last video, live croaker and mullet in the surf. All right, moving on to our PPO rig. which this is just about 4 feet of leader right here. It's called a PPO rig, and every like 10 inches or so, there's a little piece that comes off, and it's just a small float with a bead and a small 3/0 circle hook. A little swivel on that side, and then I have these set up to have 3 hooks on them. I don't know how well y'all can see it, but I have 3 hooks to a snap swivel for your weight. And I use this, I use like pieces of salted shrimp tipped with fish bites. Catch anything on this really. I've caught big redfish, small redfish, black drum, croaker, whiting, catfish. I've even caught a couple sharks on this leader before. You just have to get lucky that they don't cut you off instantly. But yeah, this is just a pompano rig. Like I said, I use it for like small pieces of bait, shrimp, fish bites. Really good surf fishing leader for just about anywhere. All right, moving on to my last leader I have to show. Now, this ain't really a surf fishing leader, but it is one of the leaders I use when I'm on the beach. And what it is my big shark leader. Now when I say big sharks, I'm talking like 5 to 6, maybe 7 foot. Because I use spinning gear for my sharks, so I'm not capable of catching anything too big. But yeah, like 5 to 7 is my limit for big sharks. But what it is I got 10 feet right here of 400-pound mono, with just beads and a snap swivel for the weight. I got a 2/0 600-pound barrel swivel right here on this end. And then the mono goes into another 600-pound barrel swivel. And then this is about 4 feet of 190-pound braided cable. And right now I got a 16/0 circle hook on there. I use about 16 to 20/0 depending on the size bait I am using for my sharks. But yeah, this is just you can't cast this. This is what I use when I'm kayaking out baits. Like I said, just 10 feet of 400-pound mono to 4 feet of cable and a big circle hook. That's all it really is. Now real quick, I'm going to talk about the weights I use. The weights you'll see me using on the surf fishing leaders that are pegged in the middle, I'm always going to use spider weights. I like the ones with the thick, sturdy legs, 4 to 6 ounces, maybe 8, depending on how rough it is what I'll use on my big cut bait surf leaders. This is another version of the spider weights. And then I got just a couple different sizes of pyramid weights. Like I'll use this on the live bait leader and the pompano as well. And like in bait weight size, it depends on the conditions. Like if it's real calm and everything, I wouldn't use on the cut bait. I wouldn't use anything bigger than a 4 ounce, and on the pompano, I use 2 or 3 ounces. So yeah, that's about it for the rigging and everything I use for surf fishing. There's a lot of questions asked, and I hope this answered some of them. But real quick before we go, I just want to show y'all something because I've seen a couple questions about it as well. When y'all see me getting ready to cast out, just a little tip, when y'all see me getting ready to cast, this is the end your line will go on. When y'all see me getting ready baiting up to cast out, I'll have the weight like this, and I'll have a bait on, and the loop right at not the hook eye, but the loop made in your mono. When you're getting ready to cast out these leaders that are pegged in the middle, if you just hang it on the leg of your spider weight like that before you cast, then you make your cast, it gives you, since all the weight stays together in one spot, it allows you to cast further with less resistance and a less chance of just the weight in the bait spinning and tangling up. And I know what you might think, it's like, well, how does that separate? It separates once it hits the water. Just the weight's gonna fall faster than the bait, and it's just gonna separate. Every now and then you might have a time where it doesn't separate, but it's only ever happened to me a handful of times. It usually always separates. So yeah, just another quick tip about casting out these leaders. Same thing with the casting shark leader. You just hook it on the leg of the spider weight and then cast it out. Yeah, well, that's my main setups and main leaders. I hope that answered some of y'all's questions that y'all have been asking. Once again, I am sorry about the lack of videos. But yeah, that's everything. And I hope y'all stick around for some more fishing. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. One more thing before I forget. Down in the comments, let me know what y'all would prefer to see. Next, would it be a kayak video inshore fishing, or would it be more surf fishing off the beach? My favorite personally is I enjoy surf fishing the most, but I also enjoy kayak fishing, so I'm really fine with either one. Just let me know which one y'all would prefer more.